What is up?
Oh, it was like a delayed intro there for a second. That was weird.
Yeah, I screwed that up.
No worries.
I had the background on, and now I don't. Now I do. Okay, here we go. We're a little discombobulated today, but we're ready to rock and roll. Things are busy in the ultra world.
Is it cooking with Crisco? Is that the old hillbilly saying? Is that what it is?
Yeah, cooking with Crisco or now we're cooking with gas.
Now we're cooking with gas. Yeah. Cooking with
That's
Crisco.
right.
I can't remember the last time I had something else. I don't know, man. I mean, probably every time you eat at a restaurant, but I don't know the last time I had anything made with Crisco, so to say.
Yeah.
Can't be good for you, right?
No, I remember in college we would have the big thing of Crisco and had this janky old fryer that I don't know. My mom found us at a garage sale or something, and we'd just buy a bag of potatoes, cut them up, Crisco in that thing, grease everywhere.
Like in the dorm or at a house you had?
In an apartment.
Okay, yeah. It's funny. So we were at JJ's orientation for college, right? And the multiple times the comment was made, you can have a small microwave in your dorm room, like a small one. Absolutely, positively, zero toasters, toaster ovens, hot plates, nothing like that.
Wow.
Like multiple times it was said. And then when I was like, listen, think about your kids. Think about anything that you could throw something over and it could possibly start on fire. And then even after that, someone would raise their hand. She's like, my daughter is a runner and she needs can she have a toaster? I'm like, oh, lady.
We'll make an exception because she's a runner.
Your daughter, who's a runner, you're at a D3 school, homegirl. I got breaking news for you. Let's relax on God, let you tell you, Sam. The level of entitlement.
From my experience, the cafeterias at school, when I was in college, it was pretty great. I mean, good selection of food, big salad bar,
I mean, yeah. I mean, Otterbein, I mean, we ate there that day, and it was fine. Actually, the cheese pizza was really, really good. I was like, why is this cheese pizza so good? But it was good. But they're gutting and remodeling all that, and so that's kind of cool. JJ will have a whole new. I keep wanting to call them DFACs. I'm assuming they don't call them DFAC dining hall. New dining hall. So that's kind of cool. But anywho, yeah.
Nice.
That's some of the big excitement going on.
All right. Well, let's get into some ultra running stuff. Or first, let's see. First, I just want to give a shout out to all of our new listeners in Michigan.
Yeah.
For some reason, we didn't have any Michigan downloads for a long time, and last month we had a few. Now all of a sudden we got 33 downloads this month from Michigan.
I think it's really cool. It's just kind of watching as the snowball keeps rolling down the hill and the kid keeps getting bigger. It's just. I mean, really, it's just like our merry band of idiots, right? We run predominantly here in Ohio. We go over to Indiana, we tell some folks in Indiana, they start picking it up. I'm assuming someone went to Michigan, or someone in Michigan came down to Ohio, or something. It is really cool to watch the evolution of the show kind of going. So yeah, Michigan's starting to get some listening now, and who knows? Maybe here in a month or two, all of a sudden we're like, oh look. The UP went over and started talking to some folks in Wisconsin, and now all of a sudden Wisconsin's got a bunch of listeners. So we're on the note of Wisconsin, we're going to give them a little love today.
That's right, Kettle.
So yeah, so the big thing that we're looking for, and this is kind of funny because Jamie had found this, is there's a way to measure how well your podcast is going. And so we do have this like fun little game we have going amongst ourselves, but we'll what we're looking for is if you have X amount of downloads in a seven-day window post release, it says that, oh, you're in the upper 50% of podcasts out there. And then if you get this number, you're in the upper 25%. And if you get this number, and so we're always just looking to hit like that next tier. And so now we're shooting for getting into the top 25% of all podcasts out there. So that's our goal.
Yeah, we made it to the top 50%.
Yeah, we're in the top 50. So now we're trying to get to the top 25. And for those of you who are listening right now, we appreciate you. You've definitely gotten us there. And now the way that you get us from the top 50 to the top 25 is keep listening to us, keep telling folks about us, keep spreading the word. But also, I think the number one way, the big way, word of mouth is always going to probably be king in this. But the other way that's really, really helpful is like and subscribe to the podcast, but also if you give it ratings, if you go on and just take a couple minutes and give it a rating, it helps boost it a little bit more. Yeah. So the likes and the subscribes are great, but like the ratings really help out a lot. So that's one way, like on wherever you're getting your podcast from. The other way is by hitting us up on the social medias, being active in the comments, sharing out anything that we share out and that kind of stuff. So if you can, help us out and do those couple things, it'll move us from the upper 50% we're now up into the upper 25%. Now, I don't know, that should be kind of a cool benchmark to hit. And then, after that, listen, we're all in the ultra running game because we're all idiots and we're never satisfied for where we're at. So after we hit the upper 25%, and then we're going to be, hitting you all up to get us into the upper 10%.
That's right.
And then the upper 5,
And so far you've come through well. So we appreciate our core listeners and all listeners. And I do have a special place for Michigan because when I lived in Michigan. I born and raised in Ohio. I spent the first 25 years of my life in Ohio, and huge Buckeye. Love the Ohio running community. But I moved to Michigan when I was 25, and when I was in my early 30s, I started trail and ultra running. So I lived in Michigan when I was trail and ultra running, and so I ran, did a lot of training in Pontiac Lake Rec area, Pinckney Rec area, Island Lake Rec area. So spent a lot of hours on those trails, and so I definitely have a deep connection to Michigan. And 5.5 years ago, we moved out to San Francisco. So, but yeah, no, shout out to the Michigan listeners. All right, let's move into some race results. We are really in the thicket of it right now. Mm-hmm. There's just a lot going on in the race world. And it seemed like this weekend or last weekend was a ton of like super classic races, races that have been going on. Two of the races we're going to talk about today are over 100 years old. So,
dang, that is wild, isn't it?
Yeah, but we'll start with another classic in the ultra scene. That's San Diego 100. This was the 23rd running of the San Diego 100. Temperatures were hot, and they usually are hot. This takes place out at like Cuyamaca State Park, I think it's called, Cuyamaca. It's Cuyamaca Lake, I believe. Jess and I were out there on vacation one time, and we went out there where they run this race, and it was, I think, Memorial Weekend-ish, and it was hot. So I can't even imagine how hot it is out there, exposed, and just Southern California sun just beating on you. Because it's not near the coast; it's inland. It's east of San Diego. So
yeah.
Finisher rate was only 52%. I'm guessing because of the heat. 134 runners completed the course under the 32-hour cutoff. And Jesus Topete Jr. ran a sub 18 hour in that heat, 17 hours and 58 minutes for the win. And on the women's side, Alyssa Clark, she led wire to wire and won in 21 hours and 19 minutes, and she took 5th overall. One of our favorite ultra running people out there, Andrew Glaze, he was in this race. He took a bad tumble and he messed his leg up pretty bad, it seemed like. He ended up dropping out of this one at mile 70.
Dang. Like, it's hard to wrap your head around how bad of a tumble he takes to bump him out of a race. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I mean, like, this will sound insane. I have just come to so accustomed to him finishing races. I'm not even aware of him ever DNFing a race before.
Yeah, me neither.
I might have to go in. I might have to do some. Some
ultra sign up snooping.
Yeah. We'll have to see what we can get figured out here.
Yeah, it must have been pretty bad, and he
doubt.
still got his 100. He still got his 100 miles in for the week. Because he's been on the streak. For those of you who don't know, Andrew Glaze, look him up on any social media like Instagram or TikTok, or I'm not on TikTok, but I think Johnny, you said he's on TikTok.
Yeah, he's great on TikTok actually. Which I really think the content that's on TikTok is the same content that's on Instagram. I think we just kind of do both of them at the same time.
Platform.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's been running 100-mile weeks. The streak of 100-mile weeks has been going on for a long time. But he's still got his 100 miles in, and he's running Bighorn 100 this weekend. And Monday he did a run, just test the leg out. He said it was no bueno. He was going to make the decision. He had to make the decision by today to go to Wyoming for Bighorn. And I saw on Strava a little bit ago, he did a little run outside of the airport there. So
because he was trying to get a did you see, I don't know if you and I saw the same reel or not. He found a Strava segment. He found a Strava segment he's trying to become the king of or whatever.
Yeah.
To get the crown for it. Yeah.
The local legend, or like the actual like best time?
The best time one, I think.
Nice.
I saw it in passing. I didn't think to stop and really look at it.
That's cool. Yeah, so it looks like he is going to Wyoming to run Bighorn, and who knows how, he said it felt a little better, but still not great. So we'll see what happens there.
Dude, that's
yeah. All right, let's move on to Comrades. So this is one of the races that is over 100 years old. Comrades is a classic. Okay. This is the oldest and the largest ultra marathon in the world. It started in 1921, and Comrades, and it's in South Africa, and a guy named Vic Clapham started it in 1921 to commemorate the lives of South African soldiers. It's a point-to-point, and they always do they always alternate directions every year. So there's an up year and a down year. The up year has around 5,700 feet of climb, and it's 55 miles, and it's actually a road race. But yeah, super popular. Some famous American runners that have won it, like Ann Trayson, and there's been a few. Camille Herron. So, and I guess their big thing is they play the Chariots of Fire theme song at the start. Can you imagine like 20,000 runners setting out and Chariots of Fire playing?
Yeah. I got us a quick update on Andrew.
Okay.
All right. He's had a couple of DNFs. He is human. He is human. He's had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. He's had 9 from 2017 until now. 2017 was a rough year for him. 2017, he had 4 DNFs.
Yeah.
2018, he had 2. 2022, he had 1. 2023, he had 1. 2024. Here's what's interesting. So 2017 was a horrible year for him. Like, he must have been beat up or whatever. Here's what's wild. San Diego has not been friendly to our man Andrew. He's actually DNF'd it twice.
Okay.
So yeah, but anyways, still an absolute freak of nature. Still, like, just insanely.
And
so
not only. I mean, can you imagine the mental fortitude it would take to lay down 100-mile weeks, week after week after week? I mean, the guy he's a full-time firefighter, and he just actually got a promotion to battalion chief. Like, I can't even imagine like how he finds time. You know, I'm just thinking about how difficult it is for me to like get 50 miles in a week, just with time and energy and everything. And I don't really, I work full time, but you know, I don't have many other responsibilities other than that. I don't have any excuses, but anyway, it's just pretty impressive. So
yeah, for sure.
But yeah, back to Comrades. Let's take a look, because there was a course record at Comrades this year, and this was an up year, by the way. And
so they did a course record.
Gerda Stine, who's from South Africa but lives in the United Arab Emirates, she set a course record and won for the women, and her time was 5 hours and 49 minutes. And then on the men's side, Piet Wiersma from the Netherlands, 5 hours and 25 minutes. So that's pretty crazy if you think about it. I know it's a road race, and it's 5,700 feet of climbing, and it's 55 miles. So 5 hours and 25 minutes. I mean, that's pretty fast. But it is, like I said, it's the largest ultra, 20,000 runners. So it's the largest ultra in the world.
I mean, just to kind of keep talking about how like absolutely badass Stine is. This is a defending championship run, right? Like she won it last year.
Oh, that's right.
And I think she had the course record already, and I think she's won it like 9 times before. It's insane. Like, I think she's won it multiple times, I think.
Go ahead.
She's a freak. Like, she's badass. So
yeah, I think she had the down record.
This is her third win. I'm sorry. This is her third win there. But yeah, she is obviously very good on this course.
Yeah, here's her Wikipedia. She was first, like you said, last year on the down year in 5 hours and 44 minutes. But yeah, she's come a long way. Like, if you look at her early races, she ran Comrades in 2015, and she was 56th. And that was in 8 hours and 19 minutes.
Yeah.
Now, like 9 years later, she's laying down sub 6 hour. So,
God.
So she's come a long way.
Yeah. It is a cool race. It is a really cool race. I wonder for Americans how hard it is to get over to that race and run that race and all that kind of stuff.
There's actually, I saw on their website, on the Comrades website, there's this whole thing for international runners about like how to get in and all this stuff. So
yeah, pretty interesting.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. All right. Let's let's move on. Oh, you know what? Before I move on from Comrades, Ultra Running History has a podcast about Comrades. Ultra Running History, Davy Crockett, I've said this before, it's one of the coolest podcasts. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know, it's dry, but it's like the most fascinating information. Like, he really does a great job deep diving into the history of all this stuff. So yeah, it'd definitely be worth listening to the Comrades one. But all right, let's move on to Kettle. So Kettle Moraine 100 in Wisconsin, another classic, also part of the Midwest Slam, right? And I think that takes place like on the Ice Age Trail, right?
I think parts of it does. I will tell you, like, every person I've ever talked to who's gone up and run it, and everything I've ever seen on their website or pictures of it, I think it's around that area, but it is a lot of grassy, just mowed grass. You know what I mean? Like it.
Yeah.
It's not dirt trail like one would think. You know what I mean? Like I don't know.
Okay.
I feel like it'd be. So yeah, I think it's a pretty interesting course, but it's been around forever. I feel like it's been around forever and a day, and like you said, it's part of the Slam. A lot of folks here in Ohio will do it along with the rest of them, and
yeah, it's a very popular. Oh, the 27th annual. Man, this is like the weekend of super classic races. SD100, Comrades, Kettle. 27th annual.
Yeah, so it's been around for a minute.
Yeah. All right, so let's take a look at the finishers. Scott Wapata, or no, I'm sorry, I jumped ahead to the 100K. Brian Simonik won in 15 hours and 43 minutes, and Allison Barrett for the ladies in 19 hours and 4 minutes. So congrats to them. And then there's something interesting in the 100K. It said that the winner, Scott Wapata, he finished in 9 hours and 42 minutes, but I think it was the I Run Far article said that he had dropped down to the 100K distance.
Yeah.
So I was like wondering, was he in the lead at the 100K mark and was like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna drop and get first to the 100K.
Yeah, like he could feel like the back, like the second or third, like gaining on him. He's like, well, I'm feeling pretty tired, but at least I can wrap up this win for sure.
Yeah.
Like it is weird. Like how does that happen? Like how do you drop and like still get to say you won it? Like I don't know.
Yeah, it's just race rules, I guess.
Yeah.
You're allowed to drop down distance. So
the other thing that's always really fun about that's getting really fun about ultra running and stuff like this, right? And like, you know, like if you look at Kettle Moraine, we're talking about how it is a Midwest race, right? Like it'll pull people in from all over the Midwest. The guy who won it, right, Brian Simonik, is from Kentucky. But you look at second place, that's an Ohio person, Alec Klein, coming up from Ohio, you know. And then the one this was kind of a far-fetched one. But anyways, I got to give a little shout out here. The John Donovan, the dude who took fourth, right? That little city that he's from, Dubuque, Iowa, is actually where, like, it's such a weird small world. One of my son's classmates and lacrosse teammates, he is going out to Dubuque University to play lacrosse for that college out there and is like studying aviation. But like, what a weird, small little world that like Like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, oh Dubuque, like it's like some rinky-dink little city that's on the Mississippi River, but like here it is
Yeah.
making. I don't know.
Small world.
Yeah, I love little weird stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure. And the 100-mile ladies finisher, Allison Barrett, she's from Kalamazoo,
Yeah,
Michigan. So
there you go. We got our
shout
Michigan folks
out.
there. Yeah.
And then I also want to give a shout out to the 100K women's winner, who was Wendy Krause from Park Rapids, Minnesota, in 12 hours and 35 minutes. So,
dang, that is cooking.
All right. Okay. Let's move on to the next event, which is this next event has been growing in popularity. I'm not sure how many years they've done the race, but let me see. Okay, it started in 2018. And now it's 2024. So I'm starting to hear a lot more about this race, and it's called Scout Mountain Ultras, and it's in Idaho. Like, Idaho has just incredible trails. It's an incredible mountain state.
Yeah.
Right. And I've been to Boise, and I've been kind of on the trails in the foothills around Boise, but I've never been up into the mountains in Idaho. But all the pictures I've seen just look just incredible. And the Scout Mountain Ultra is pretty cool. They have multiple distances: 100-mile, 50-mile, 50K, and 23-mile. And so I think it would be a good race to go really get a good feel for the Idaho mountains and trails out there. There's a couple of races in Idaho.
Yeah.
I definitely want to make it out there for one someday.
I think listen, like the race is picking out a picture that is going to, like, if I'm putting a picture on my website, like on my front of my website, and it's big and huge, of course I want to make it a really, really great picture. But even the picture that's on Scout Mountain's website, like the vista that's behind that runner that they have, it's amazing, man.
Yeah.
And it looks like you can see the single track behind her.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like it's nice and runnable. You know what I mean? Like, that is a really cool looking area. I would love to go out here and check this out.
Yeah, I guarantee you it's nice. It's one of those things. It's like, I don't know it for a fact, but I know it's true.
Yeah.
But yeah, so to get down to the results of Scout Mountain, Ian Ferris won the 100-miler. He's from Draper, Utah. And let's see. His time was 24 hours and 18 minutes.
Ooh, holy cow.
Yeah, so the race takes place in Caribou-Targhee National Forest, and it says it's run on rugged terrain and remote places.
Holy cow.
But yeah, Ian Ferris, 24 hours, 18 minutes. And Justine Hewitt won for the ladies in 28 hours and 48 minutes.
Dang.
I'm not sure what the cutoff is at the 100-miler or how much gain there is. I think it's like 20. It's like maybe 24,000 feet of climbing. I'm thinking
22,300. So it's funny because like as happens often with us recording, is you find really cool races, and I get sucked down a rabbit hole of like Googling it, and being a nerd on my computer while we talk or while you talk.
We need that to deliver the details, so that's good.
So I was already on the race info. It's like, dude, all distances are solo, no relays or teams. For the truly hardcore runner, the full 100-mile course is for you. The major test of endurance as runners navigate a challenging 22,300 feet of vertical gain and loss. Oh, wait. Of gain. Hold on.
You say it's solo, like no crew?
Well, I think they just mean. I actually kind of think what they mean by this is like there's no relays, but it's interesting. See, now I find this interesting because on the website it says 22,000 feet of vertical gain, and then it has open parentheses and loss close parentheses. So are they saying there's 23,000 feet of change or 22,000 feet of change?
No, it's 23,000 feet of climb and 23,000 feet of descent.
My dumbass. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So there's 44,000 feet of change. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right,
yeah, that makes. I was like, what are we talking about? Like, hold on. But yeah, dude, it sounds like that's a
nutcracker.
That's grown folk running right there, boy.
Yeah.
That is grown.
No, it is. That's a true mountain race.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised to see it sometime in the future become a hard rock qualifier.
Yeah.
And then so there was some other distances. The 50 mile, or did I say the? Let me go back to the 100. The first place female was Justin Hewitt. Oh yeah, I did say that, Justine Hewitt, and she was 28 hours and 48 minutes. And the 100 or the 50 mile, we had Michael Petoskey from Boise, and 9 hours 28 minutes. And Anna Fisher won for the ladies in 9 hours and 53 minutes. And I do want to give a shout out to Tara Dower in the 50K. She got second. She got second out there at the 50K, 6 hours and 8 minutes. And the first place female was Kat Pagano in 6 hours and 7 minutes. And they had a duel. Nice. Tara talks about it on social media a little bit. But yeah, so it was really close. And Tyler Fox won for the men in first place overall, 5 hours and 5 minutes. And Zach Perrin second, 5 hours and 10 minutes. So both those races were pretty close, it looks like.
Yeah.
But cool race.
It is a super cool race. I'm still kind of scrolling through their website quickly as I can, just seeing if I can find what the cutoff is. I
was thinking it's maybe 38 hours, I'm guessing. Oh, no, I think it's 36 hours because it's a midnight. Is it a midnight start? No, 10 a.m. Wait a second.
Yeah. That I did just see where it's talking about the start time. I will say there was maybe not the best. Granted, I'm scrolling as fast as I can through stuff, so it's not. I just saw something about what time it starts, but
a noon start.
Yeah.
Okay, and then I think the cutoff is midnight the next day, so that would be 36 hours.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Pretty
noon
cool.
To noon, 24 plus 12, 36. But somebody is listed as a finisher over 36 hours because I looked at the last place.
Oh, really?
Finisher. So maybe they just counted it. I don't know. I think it's 36 hours for the cutoff. So.
I think so. That sounds for that kind of race, it sounds reasonable.
Yeah. It'd be tough.
Yeah.
But it's doable.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move on to the Dipsea. And this is not an ultra race, but this is a classic. Okay. Dipsea is the oldest trail race in America. It started in 1905. So this was the 114th Dipsea. It was the 113th Dipsea. And Dipsea is, so it's a 7-mile trail. And it starts in downtown Mill Valley, which is this little town north of San Francisco, just across the Golden Gate Bridge. And it's 7 miles from downtown Mill Valley to Stinson Beach on the coast. And it goes through the area where Mount Tam is. There's Mount Tamalpais, and there's 2,200 feet of climbing on the 7-mile trail. It's point to point. And this, like I said, extremely classic race, a deep history of this race. And the start is handicapped, and it's handicapped based on a few things like age, gender, and if you've won the race before, I think you get a minute. You have to give a minute head start if you won the race before, and that's in addition to the head start you have to give if you're in certain age or so. And you can look at their website and see all that information about the handicap. I think they decide every year, they look at it and they decide the handicaps that they're going to give out. So yeah, it's a tough course, some really nice trails, but 2,200 feet of climb and 7 miles, and it's an all-out sprint. I mean, people are just going crazy. And there's some really cool old videos there's a video from the late 70s actually of this blind runner doing the Dipsea race, and the guy's leading him and he's yelling out like the whole time, like just, it's so cool. I'll have to find that and share it at some point.
That would be super cool in the share on the Facebook page or something like that. That'd be really cool to see.
Yeah, definitely. So first place this year was a female, Chris Lundy, and her clock time was 48 minutes and 10 seconds. But because of the handicap, her actual time was 1 hour, 3 minutes and 9 seconds.
Dang, God.
So yeah, she's 53, and it's kind of weird how it all breaks down. But Clara Peterson was second. Her clock time was 48 minutes and 47 seconds. And her actual time was 58 minutes and 46 seconds. So Eddie Owens, who's a Bay Area speedster, he was the fastest actual time, 49 hours and 55 49 minutes and 55 seconds. But he finished sixth because of the handicap. So, and then like last year's winner, Paddy O'Leary, he lives in San Francisco. He's an Irishman, but he lives in San Francisco. He couldn't do the race this year. He had to. He went back to Ireland for some family emergency or something. I saw on social media, but yeah, no, it's just a cool event. I mean, there's some really stellar runners out there. Jeffrey Stern, Ultra Running Magazine writer, and he did it, and his clock time was 51 minutes and 58 seconds. His actual time was 53 minutes, 57 seconds. So he was 11th overall. Alex Varner, another super fast runner. Yeah, so there's 1,500 runners that do Dipsea. I mean, it's a big race for a trail race. And the top, I think the top 350 runners are automatically invited back for the next year. It's called the Invitational Division. And there's no prize money, but the top 35 finishers, they all get black cotton t-shirts with their finishing number on the back. So
dude, that'd be
first place is
amazing.
one,
Could you imagine just being out on a just a jog one day in Marin, and someone just goes bopping by you nice and chill, and they have a black cotton on, you're like, damn,
Yep.
or like post run, they're changing out their sweaty running stuff. They just slide on that cool black cotton. Like, oh hell no!
They're legends.
Yeah, that is super cool. That is such a cool race.
Yeah, it is cool. Even like Buzz Burrell, he's a guy that has a podcast. I think the Ultra Running Magazine podcast, or maybe it's Ultra Sign Up. I don't know, but he writes for Ultra Running Magazine too. He's 72 years old, and he got 9th because of the handicap.
Yeah. Oh, so man, that's awesome.
His clock time was 51 minutes and 43 seconds. His actual time was 1 hour and 14 minutes and 42 seconds. So
that is awesome.
He got a nice head start. Okay. So yeah, Dipsea, cool event. They also have double Dipsea. I'm not sure when that is. And then they also have an ultra. They have the quad Dipsea. So that's like just 28 miles and like over 9,000 feet of climb, or right around 9,000 feet of climb. So quad Dipsea is tough, out back.
Yeah.
But
and then anyway. You've taken me on that part of the trail before too, right?
We've been on. Yeah, we've been on part of Dipsea.
Isn't that where the giant banana slug thing was?
Yeah. So yeah, Dipsea. When we started that run that day, the first like mile and a half was on the Dipsea Trail, and then we split off from Dipsea and went up steep ravine.
Yeah.
But yeah, same area. Yeah. All right.
It is cool.
Another race that I want to talk about, since we're on the topic of Michigan and we have some new Michigan listeners, is a new 100-mile race. They just had their inaugural event. And this is the one we talked about on this podcast before, where I was like, when I lived in Michigan, I was running on these trails in these rec areas all the time. And I'm looking at the map thinking, man, I could string together these rec areas. And there's that like 30-mile trail that goes from Pinckney all the way to Waterloo. And, you throw in that Lakelands trail that's in Woodstock 100. That's that wide, flat, gravelly path. I'm like, you could really get a 100-miler here and incorporate all these rec areas. And well, somebody actually made this happen, right?
Yeah.
And kudos to them. The only thing I would maybe do differently is I would try to incorporate Pontiac Lake rec area, which is a little further north than where it finished. Just because Pontiac Lake is somewhere that I would just run at regularly. I love Pontiac Lake. But no, he did a great job. He factored in a lot of rec areas, Island Lake, Brighton rec area, Pinckney rec area, Waterloo. Very cool route. And let's see. Yeah, this was their inaugural year. Jack Miller won the 100-miler in 18 hours and 46 minutes. And there, unfortunately, was no women finishers in the inaugural 100-miler. It was a pretty limited field for the inaugural year. I'm sure this race will grow. But Zach Krim won the 50-mile in 7 hours and 20 minutes, and Alana Sharp won for the ladies in 9 hours and 37 minutes. And so here's the race description. It's point to point, which is cool. And it goes across the Huron River watershed. So that's why it's called the Huron 100.
Yeah.
And 6 state rec areas, 2 metro parks, and 1 county park. It's 82% trail and has 9,700 to 8,200 feet of elevation gain. So around 8,000 feet. So fairly flat. 14 aid stations, a 31-hour cutoff, which is pretty generous.
Huge cutoff. Yeah.
Yeah. And so it starts in Waterloo at the Waterloo Pinckney Rec Area, or the Waterloo Rec Area, and it heads north. I guess that would be northeast, and it finishes. Let's see, at Proud Lake Rec Area. So
I think the smart thing they also did is, looking at, I mean, other than Kettle, right? When you look at, Midwest races, like 100-milers, yeah, they're the same weekend as Kettle, but the big thing for them that they did that is pretty smart as far as their scheduling goes, is it's not a 100-miler that's rivaling the other big Michigan 100-miler, right? It's not rivaling like the same time frame or the same weekend.
You're talking about Woodstock
as Woodstock, yeah, it's hallucination. Yeah. And so I like the idea they kind of put it. I mean, if nothing, you could be like, hey, I'm going to run both Michigan 100-milers.
Yeah.
And you could run this one, and you could easily recover.
Oh, for sure.
Woodstock in September.
Yeah.
And
the cool thing about this race versus Woodstock is that it's a point to point. Woodstock is like 6 laps,
6 loops of just stab you in the neck insanity. Like it is.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, like my first buck was from Woodstock, right? So I can't be too mad at it, but holy hell, that thing is just, well, that is insanity.
My first buckle's from Indiana when it was 6 loops, and
dude,
it's like
on a Canton Trail.
Yeah. The good thing about the loop course is that logistics are super easy, right?
Yeah.
Your crew at Woodstock, your crew will meet you at Richie Havens, that's like the halfway point of the loop.
Yeah.
And then so like every 8 miles, you pretty much see your crew if they wanted to do that. If not, you're going to see them, every 16 miles. So, the logistics are easy, but running in loops is kind of, I don't know, it gets monotonous.
Yeah.
The point to point is pretty intriguing, especially for this race, how they weaved all these rec areas together. I just think that's so cool. And I can't imagine it was easy to put this on either. 14 aid stations on a point to point race. He needs a lot of volunteers. And for the amount of runners, I don't know. There's maybe more volunteers than runners.
So the other thing that I, like talking to Mark and Chad, and kind of knowing how some of the permits you got to go through.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
I was thinking about that too.
Like he's going through multiple venues, jurisdictions, however you want, municipalities, like all of the different levels of government that he has to
Yeah.
But
I'm guessing he has to get a permit for every rec area, like individually.
I wouldn't be stunned by that at all. Like if he's lucky, it's the same person handles every single one. He's like, hey, look, maybe. But could you imagine here in Ohio? I know these are two vastly different, but if you tried to run a metro park versus a state park, you know what I mean? And even if they're butted up against one another, those are two different permits. These folks are doing some serious work.
But look how cool this is. Through all these rec areas. I mean, this is just and these are a lot of places that I trained on, like I said, many, many hours.
Yeah.
The only thing is I wish they could extend it up to here where the mouse is. This is Pontiac Lake. So they could have went through Pontiac Lake, Highland Lake, or Highland State Rec Area. But they went up to Brighton Rec Area, which I actually never ran at Brighton State Rec Area. I don't know why. All the years I was training in Michigan, I never ran there, the Torn Shirt Trail. Maybe that's why it looks like that, all weavy and stuff.
Dude, it's funny because I'm zooming in at like the same place you are right now on my computer.
Yeah.
Like that is holy bejesus.
So yeah, there's a couple of trails in Michigan that are like that. They're just like you're just like actually just zigzagging. There's one in Highland Rec area too. It's 16 miles, and you're just zigzagging the whole way. It's like a mountain bike trail, but anyway, cool stuff. I'm glad Michigan got another 100-miler. I think they have a couple 100-milers here and there, but I would look for this one to grow in the future.
Yeah.
I think so. All right. One more race just to go over real quick. Laurel Highlands. And Laurel Highlands is a pretty famous Pennsylvania race. I was thinking about this. They should have, well, I guess they really can't make it, but they should make it like a part of the Pennsylvania crown, but you couldn't do World's End and Laurel Highlands back to back. Back-to-back weekends.
You could. I mean, you could. It's funny because, like, for me, I mean, and like these are two vastly different sports, but for me, every time I see Laurel Highlands, right, I immediately think of the other thing. It's in Ohio Pile, right? It's in a big little city called Ohio Pile, and so Ohio Pile. It's just so weird. Like my wife and I have been married for so long. Like she tells stories about when she's a little girl and used to go to Ohio Pile and they'd go whitewater rafting and stuff like that in that area. Like it's a massive area for whitewater rafting too. But yeah, Laurel Highlands is just I've never ran it, but holy hell, I heard it will take your lunch. So
yeah. Did Chaz run Laurel Highlands?
I think he has.
I think so, too.
I think he's run that, too.
It's a 70.5-mile race. And Eric Kennedy got first, 11 hours, 36 minutes. And Justinia Wilson got first for the ladies in 13 hours and 16 minutes. So congrats to them. All right. LazCon updates. Or lack of LazCon updates.
No. We are breaking news.
What?
We are breaking news, sir.
So before the show, like literally right before we started recording, Johnny and I are on Twitter or X, whatever, and we looked for LazCon update, and it was crickets since June 6th. That's 6 days ago.
Yeah.
And we were just wondering, thinking that he's maybe getting close to being through Missouri. And, so you messaged Jared Beasley?
I just tweeted him. I tweeted at him. I tweeted off from the June 6th picture he sent, the one that we can't tell what the hell that is. We think that's a road. It looks like a big-ass sidewalk. Not sure. But I just simply tweeted.
Oh, right here. Yeah.
Yeah. About to record, and we know the listeners will want to know, ... Is there any update on the legend that is Laz? and Jared, always Johnny on the spot, was like just west of Springfield, Mizzou.
Nice,
so
nice.
I mean, hot, like literally as of like 9:30 Eastern Standard Time on June 12th, Laz was just west of Springfield, Mizzou.
This is breaking news, people. Here's Springfield. I'm zooming out. Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, he's working his way west. He's getting close to Kansas. I'm guessing he's going to go through Kansas. I don't think he wants to go too much further south to get to San Francisco.
Now, it's funny because I was doing the same thing you were looking at, and I'm like, all right, what way is he going? Because he was 6 days ago, he was by St. Robert, right? And St. Robert, and like I know Jared said just west of Springfield, so I don't know like how far north but west of Springfield he is. But St. Robert is pretty significant. I mean, it is quite literally the definition of northeast of Springfield. So
he's actually south of San Francisco. Like if you went on a direct line from Springfield to San Francisco, it's more like, looks like it lines up more. Well, it's close, maybe a little south of San Francisco. So
yeah, it almost looks like he's more in line with like San Jose kind of thing, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So sure. So he could kind of. I mean, it's kind of cool too because you and I were talking about this also before this show. It's just kind of interesting to watch what little roads he can pick and choose.
Yeah.
You know, like right now, like it's kind of funny because like, you know, there's like this little like state route 160.
Yeah.
And if you look at 160, like I can follow 160 all the way over past Jasper to Pittsburgh.
Oh, yeah.
And then drop down, hit 400. 400 will T-intersect into 75.
Yeah.
Drop down 75, and now I can go west on, I don't know what that
160.
is. 160
You're
again.
back on 160.
Back on 160. And so, like, this is weirdly, okay. I get 160 all the way into Kansas. I'm going underneath 135, so on 160.
Yeah, it connects up with Route 54.
Dude, no, I'm on 160 all the way to Coldwater.
Oh, you go north. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can take 160 pretty far. It looks.
Oh
like.
My God! Hey! Why does Moscow? Don't we know Moscow, Kansas, for some reason? Is that where that one runner's the one legend is from? Where he has a little restaurant or some shit?
Oh, the dude that fuels with pizza and beer, and he's finished 100 milers, and he's like,
yes. Is he from Moscow, Kansas?
That sounds familiar, dude. That's a really good memory if that's true.
Dude, 160 runs into Moscow, Kansas.
Oh, I wonder if he's going there to get some of that guy's pizza. He owns a pizza place.
He's a fuel and pizza and beer. like 160 runs. I mean, like it's like a fucking cornfield, but he has to go 160 up and then he'll drop 56 down and in. And then he'd go on 56 for a minute. 56 is a really long state route, but it starts heading too far south.
You can literally take 160 all the way into Colorado.
Yeah.
And
yep.
Even continue through Colorado, I guess.
Let's see. This is riveting. Oh, yeah. Can I get the 160 here? Now,
go down through Pagosa Springs, which I've been to a couple times.
Dude, this is hilarious.
Oh, you can get through Colorado. I'm looking in Arizona now.
Yeah,
But you're getting
Trinidad.
too far south at this point.
Yeah. Because Trinidad, if I'm in Trinidad right now and I start scrolling dead, yeah, I'm a little too far south. I need to pull back north a little bit. But anyways, this goes back what Jamie and I were talking about before the podcast are going is. And I think if any of us watched the documentary where he pulls out the giant floor-sized map of Tennessee that he's ran all the roads on, like This is just like quintessential Laz. Like he like finds these like bizarre ass little state routes, these little county roads, and like just like methodically makes his way across the country. Yeah. So pretty cool. Classic.
Cool. You know, last time he did LazCon, he went on a more northerly route.
Yeah.
He went to Oregon, and I ran into him in Idaho. I've told that story a few times. It was a random occurrence too. But he went over the Teton Pass on that loop. And did you see what just happened to the Teton Pass?
Yeah. Dude, that's wild.
Yeah. Part of it caved in.
Yeah.
So it's going to be closed for a while. So.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Let's, we got about 10 minutes. Let's finish up with a little bit of news. We started talking last week about Stine Rex setting the new 48-hour women's record. Something that I learned after the fact is that this was not a IAU event, not a sanctioned IAU event. IAU is the International Association of Ultra Runners. So it's not going to be an IAU record. Camille Herron's going to keep the IAU record. But let's see. The Association of Canadian Ultramarathoners maintains Canadian records in ultra running, and it does not insist that it be sanctioned by the IAU. So they expect the record to be ratified through the Canadian ultra runners. But yeah, so kind of crazy, right? Like you would think a record's a record, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
But
everyone has their different like weird sanctioning rules, and I don't know.
But anyway, so Stine Rex, just amazing accomplishment. 270 miles in 48 hours. Speaking of records, I wanted to talk about this record. So this mom of three, Sophie Power, I think she's from England. She set a new Guinness World Record for running around Ireland, basically around the whole island.
Around Ireland.
Yeah. Yep. She's 41, 3 kids, and she broke a long-standing record. And this is 350 miles. And let's see. So she needed to cover over 100 miles a day with minimal sleep to beat the record. The record was 3 days, 15 hours, and 36 minutes. Okay, so the first 24 hours, she covered over 200 kilometers. Let's see. But yeah, so she powered through minimal sleep. Let's see. So she ended up finishing in 3 days and 12 hours and 8 minutes. So
3 hours off the record.
Yep. So yeah, congrats to the run around Ireland, Sophie Power.
I mean, as a parent of 3, right? Like all you're basically doing is you're giving your kids to you're giving the kids to their grandparents for like a brief holiday, right? Like it's like, hey, kids, you're going to go to Grammys and Grampies for like a long weekend. Mom's gonna go out and be a fucking badass for
That's right.
That's awesome, like.
Yep. There she is after setting the record. Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty serious run, man. Like 350 miles in 3 days and 12 hours. Yeah, I'll link this article on the show notes. It's worth reading. She's pretty accomplished person.
Yeah.
So
there's on her being a pretty accomplished, down in like on the article that you just had up, which the article that we're talking about right now, the mom, like this article by itself should be like we'll make sure that this gets shared out, because like if you scroll down to the groundbreaking and like even if you just breeze through some of the groundbreaking stuff who this woman is, like you know what, like having the record for fastest time around Ireland, badass. The other thing that this woman is about and what she does with her life is just absolutely chef's kiss badass. Like she's the world needs more of her for sure. Like really cool.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, she raised funds for the She Races platform to break down barriers for women in sport. Following the viral photo of her breastfeeding her 3-month-old baby at UTMB.
And what's funny is I remember that. Like when I read that in this, I'm like, oh yeah, I knew her name. Like I remember that.
And at the time, women weren't allowed to defer due to pregnancy. You're right. They did drop the kids off at the grandparents west of Cork. Her husband's from Ireland. Yep. But yeah, no, very cool, very cool. And congrats to Sophie. Somebody else is going for a record right now, currently, and his name's Christian Morgan. Christian set the southbound record on the Appalachian Trail last year in like 45 hours or 45 days, 4 hours and 27 minutes, southbound record. And this year he's going for the northbound record. And so far he's really been kicking ass. And the only thing is they have a really cool tracker that shows where he is and where the previous record holder, which is Carl Saab, the Belgian dentist, and it shows where he is compared to where Carl was at the same amount of days. And so far he's been in the lead, but that tracker is down right now. So I'm not really sure, but according to Facebook, everything seems to be on track. He did 55.3 miles yesterday, absolutely smashing it. Just left Shenandoah State Park, soon be in Roxylvania. So yeah, we'll be following this. And Christian is just absolutely killing it. And he is an ultra running coach. All right. So, one last thing to talk about today. The Hardest Geezer has a new project. So this is, coming off his run across Africa, which he completed, like 2 months ago, maybe?
God, I think it has been that long. Time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah. So he started a new project, and it's not as grandioso as running across the whole continent of Africa. What's funny is we were talking about how that other guy did the other side of Africa. It was all the way north, but I was saying it wasn't to the northerly tip.
Yeah.
And, the Hardest Geezer, his Instagram page says athlete, the first person ever to run the full length of Africa.
The full length.
Yeah.
None of that baby back bitch shit.
Not that 50-mile difference.
Yeah.
Or whatever. But anyways, so Hardest Geezer, he started a new project. He's running from wherever he lives in England, I believe, to Germany, because England is playing in some big soccer match there. And he's running to the match. And it's running. Yeah. And I think it's 300. I think it's 350 or 370 miles or something like that. But his goal is to get there, by the time the match starts. I think he's only 2 days in. I'll check out his, here's his Instagram post. Day 2 of running to every England game at the Euros. He's landed himself in the middle of the Essex countryside at a local pub. Did a quick interview. So this sounds like this project is going to be a lot more fun than his Africa project, which ended up, get armed robbery and everything else. Yeah. So on Instagram, he's documenting every day, it looks like. So look up Hardest Geezer on Instagram and see what he's got going on. He's quite a character. Oh, there's the map. There's the route.
Yeah.
You had to take a ferry to get out of off the island of England and then run through the Netherlands and then into Germany. Somebody made a comment like some Dutch pirates are gonna attack you or something like that. So, kind of funny, but all right. Well, this takes us right about the time. Man, flew by again.
That was a fast one. Yeah, that was a weird fast hour 10-ish. Sure
was. All right. Well, thanks again, everyone. and hope you have a good weekend of running, or whatever you're doing. Johnny, do you have anything else?
Like we said, give us a like, give us a subscribe, leave some reviews, some ratings, all that kind of fun stuff. And wherever and however you get your podcasts, wherever that is, however it is, hit it up, leave a review, leave a rating, like it, share it, all that kind of fun stuff. Michigan folks, welcome aboard. Spread the word. Let your friendly neighbors to the northwest, up in Wisconsin, know about us. The Minnehaha folks, keep spreading the word out and around. Hit us up on the socials. I think Jamie and I both do a pretty good job at staying on top of the comments and interacting with folks. So,
yeah.
I'll be honest. It's one of the more fun things to do. I am not too proud to admit I enjoy the shallow, like, oh hey, I know you, yeah, and like kicking it with people at races. So if you see us out and about at runs, at races, let us know. Say hi to us. But other than that, hope everyone has a great weekend, and we'll talk to you next week.
All right. Well put. We'll see everyone later.
Cool. Thank you.